following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
My name is Jasmine, and I am a recovering drug addict.
My name is Richie Farrell, aka the Old White Junkie.
And we are your hosts for Exit Team Nashua.
Our mission is to bring recovery into the living room.
Last year, over 72,000 Americans died of an accidental overdose.
That's almost 200 Americans every single day.
We will bring you guests with real-life experiences with addiction and recovery. Welcome to Exit Team Nashua. Hi, welcome to Exit Team Nashua. My name is Jasmine, and I am your host. Exit Team is a show where we take people who have real-life experiences, resources to offer, anything to bring to the table to contribute to recovery, and we bring it right into your living room. As always, I'm honored to be here with you. I'm honored to be here with these guys, and if you didn't tune in to last week's show and hear the great news, we have a new co-host.
Woo woo!
That is this beautiful woman sitting right here. Her name is Jessie. And Jessie, just tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a person in long-term recovery from heroin and cocaine addiction. I have been incarcerated and suffered personal loss due to this disease, and I now work at SOS Recovery Center, and I work a 12-step program.
Awesome. And we're happy to have you. So for those of you who have been following us for a long time, you know that Bobby has been with us, and he's been our co-host for a very long time. And Bobby is still a part of Exit Team, and you will see him on the show occasionally, but life happens and circumstances change and people's schedules shift around. And so I was like racking my head, and I was like, who could be the co-host? And then like immediately I was like, the only person that I think that could be the co-host is Jessie. Like, she's just as crazy as I am. She's so full of life. She eats, sleeps, and breathes recovery. And like, she's like the real deal that's out here to help other people. So it's an honor to have a TV show with you.
Thank you. And I was telling you last time I was here, the funny thing about that is I was like, she must have called everyone on her phone. You know, she was
the only person I asked.
I was probably the last person that has no life, so has the time to come on the show. And so it was really sweet to hear that I was the first person that you asked.
You were the only person I asked. Yeah.
So.
Who's this guy?
Snook.
Who are you?
Well, I am a person in long-term recovery also. My name is Jason Snook. I am a clinical social worker, and my sober date is 10/6/2016. Not the first time I've been sober.
Mm-hmm.
I currently work at Aware Recovery Care. We do in-home addiction treatment in the entire state of New Hampshire.
So real quick before we get into about
Sure.
you, you know, our show does go live, and then also it gets pushed out to different social media sites. So for anyone that's looking to get in contact with you, anyone that has any questions about Aware, anyone that has any questions about recovery, for anyone that's looking for any help, how do they contact you?
Sure. You can contact me on my cell phone. Can we put that up on the screen? Do we have that loaded?
Because our producer's not here tonight.
That's okay.
Come back again.
One more time.
We can do it that night.
Sure. So should I say my?
Yes.
So 603-498-1225. Please call me anytime.
Block the number and prank him.
Unless it's after 2 a.m., then call Jessie, okay? Because then
right.
I go to sleep at some point.
At 2?
That's it.
Yeah, seriously, what? I go to bed at 10.
I'm a busy individual, okay? My phone is always on, and I love helping other people. That's my main gig.
And so Aware Recovery offers services that can come into your home and to help you. And for those people who can't go away to treatment or they have other things going on, Aware is a great resource.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
we're a brand new model of care. We're breaking through all the barriers that keep people from accessing traditional treatment, right? And so we are offering our services in New Hampshire, Maine, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and I love to be a part of it. It's kind of revolutionizing the way that treatment is delivered. So.
And it's such a great model because, like, for me, every time I got out of treatment, you know, it's like learning how to live in the world again, you know? So it's
Sure.
like you're still in the world, you're in reality, you're in your setting where you're trying to stay clean and the services come right to you. So.
Yeah, it's a nice little transition from you have your inpatient or detox wherever you're going, and then you're sent back out into the real world, back out into the community, and kind of we're there to help make that transition much smoother and keep people supported, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's not what brings you to the show, though.
Not at all. No, I didn't even think I was going to be talking about that.
Why are you here? What brings you? How do you?
I don't know why I'm here.
How do you
How did I end up
qualify to be
here?
here? We never know with you. So
Sure.
is now the time? Is now the time we do it?
So yeah, to knock over the table and have a dance party. Sure.
Jason's a
I
phenomenal
didn't
dancer.
sign up for that one.
Yeah, I mean, we could just do a little dance party right here if you'd like.
So I'm very proud of the fact that me and Snook went to high school together. So we go way back.
Really?
Yeah.
We did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blast from the past
Yeah.
here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I actually
Did
used
you
to
hold on? So you guys knew each other during active
We
addiction.
used to party back before things got bad, you know, when it
Yeah.
was still fun.
Believe
and
it
now
or
look at you
not,
both.
Jesse actually
Beautiful,
went to college.
shining individuals.
I went to
Wow.
college at the same time. I mean, I wasn't enrolled in college classes or anything, but I went up there to
He
party.
was
He
on
used
the
to come to my
campus.
apartment
Was the
and
campus.
party. Yeah.
Mhm.
Bring the whole like Exeter High School with you and
Mhm.
all the people that didn't go away to college
Well,
came
hold
up
on.
and visited.
Were you like loud and outgoing still back then?
I guess you could call it that.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's actually my natural state, is loud, obnoxious, and kind of in your face. When I'm not like that, that's when I'm in trouble, right?
So
he
when I'm
wasn't-
using and
he was a little bit more lost though. He wasn't his kind soul was hidden a little bit. So
yeah, I
He
was
was-
mean. I was mean.
he said it, not me. So
What kind of mean?
I was a dick. Can I say?
Yeah.
Can I say that on the air? I'm
Well,
sorry.
speaking of that, you've got to give a
Sorry.
shout out to someone.
Yeah, hey, Dick, my man, backstage. Thank you for hooking up my mic and yeah, sure.
It was a great segue.
he was always the life of the party though. He was always the life of the party.
I just can't see Snook being mean.
yeah, it happened.
Like,
Yeah.
what kind of mean? There's different kind of means.
So when I and this is actually a good segue into talking about my relapse this last time. When I'm out there, I am not a pleasant person. My default mode is selfish, self-centered to the core, right? I'm constantly looking to benefit myself. I don't care about other people, right? And it gets pretty dark quickly. So I know the last time I was here on the show was back when Bobby was here, and we didn't really get too much into my relapse, but I'd love to be able to talk about my recurrence of use. If you
I
guys
think
are
that
cool.
that's-
Great story.
I
It's
think
so
that's
powerful.
great because there is a lot of shame that comes around like a relapse with people, and sitting here at this table, we are examples that like your relapse doesn't define you.
Yeah,
You know what I
sure.
mean? So I think that's great. So let us know like a little bit, just very quickly, like what your life looked like before your reoccurrence.
Sure.
Because you had a little bit of time with being sober before. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like Jesse was talking about, I was incarcerated on and off for about 5 years, and I finally got sober. Somebody came into Rockingham County Correctional Facility, told me I didn't have to live that way any longer, and showed me this new life. And in this new life, I enrolled myself in a school. I got a degree at community college, transferred up to UNH. I got a bachelor's and a master's degree in social work, and I began working at treatment centers. And I mean, after 5 DWIs, I had gotten my license back and had a
it to you
car.
after
They do, even though the last letter I ever got was, your license is suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody that's watching has ever gotten that letter, but that's not a fun one to get. So my life was growing exponentially, right, through that short 5 years of sobriety. And
So you got your master's, is what you had said.
I did, and I was
Okay.
working as a clinician at
Okay.
different treatment centers throughout New Hampshire. And
Okay.
yeah, and I'm a student of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and so the way that I can describe it the best is working the steps backwards. And that's usually how I like to explain it, because it makes perfect sense, right? I'm no longer working with other people because I'm getting paid as a clinician now, right? I'm no longer praying or meditating. I mean, who's got time for that when I've
Right.
got this busy life and I'm not taking inventory? And we can just see the digression right back to where I take my own power back. I'm playing doctor, and we know how that ends, right? And so within 3.5 months, I was, I had visited 4 different hospitals, 3 different jails, and overdosed and Narcaned back to life twice. Put my car into a couple guardrails, almost lost my right arm because of Class A IV drug use. And a partridge in a pear tree, right? So, pretty tough stuff
Yeah.
out there. So, the one story that I will share with you guys is, we were actually talking about this earlier. Me being a clinician and working in the field, I was working with addicts every single day, and I'm getting paid as a clinician, right? And my recovery program calls on me to give this stuff away freely. And when I stop doing that, it kind of loses its magic, right?
Yeah.
And the Narcan kit that I had in my office that I was potentially going to use on one of my clients, thank God I never did. That same Narcan kit was used on me when I ended up overdosing, and one of the times by my own mother.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's one of those great ironies. Right.
So what happened? How did you? So, speaking from experience from someone who had some clean time, and relapsed and went out. I had no desire to come back. I actually went on a suicide mission and had successfully had taken my own life in 2016. So like, what happened and shifted inside of you that you made it back to your calling to help others?
Yeah, it is a great question. I've never been able to kind of just like pinpoint it, right, and be able to put my thumb on it and say, that's exactly it. All I can really give it up to is God's grace. And to tell you the truth, I don't really know why I was given a second chance, because I probably shouldn't have been, but I did. And
That's like the question, right? Like, what changed? For me, it was. I hate to say it, but it was incarceration, and I didn't want to lose my freedom anymore, and I didn't want to be away from my son anymore. I didn't necessarily want to stop using, but I wanted more to have my freedom and be with my child. That I decided I had to find how to stop using, because I wanted to stop, but we don't know how to do that. So that's when I finally surrendered to the program.
So you were incarcerated. So that was like where you first found your way to sobriety, was incarceration.
Yeah.
And you hadn't picked up since. What about you? Did you get incarcerated again? Did you go to treatment? What happened?
Yeah, luckily I was in the United States Navy for long enough where I get.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah.
I'm defending all you guys out there. Is this my camera right here? So I have medical benefits at the VA hospital, and thankfully, not up here in New Hampshire, but down in Massachusetts, Bedford, Mass, they have actually quite a robust program for people with substance use disorders down there. They first put you on the locked unit, the psych ward, right? And then I ended up going through a 90-day
Is that where you
program.
withdraw in the locked
Oh
unit?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And yeah, good old withdrawals.
True.
Did they taper you on anything, or was it?
Nope. I was getting clonidine.
Okay.
And I got, right. And so,
Wild
Better than
time there.
nothing?
what is
Better than
that?
nothing.
What are those Skittles that they're giving me? 'Cause
Yeah.
and
There were multiple times I like kicked in jail or in like state funded detoxes that had no tapers. They were like, here's a cot.
Mm.
So
Yep, me too.
yeah.
Well, all those times being incarcerated, that was probably the most efficient withdrawal I ever went through, because they
Incarceration?
don't give you anything. They put
Yeah.
you in a
Care.
cell. And nowadays, actually, that's starting to change. They
Yeah.
have these new induction programs for
Yeah.
people. In
There's
there.
actually some jails in Mass where you can maintain on MAT,
Yeah,
which
they're
I think
doing
is
that
huge.
now.
It's
I
come
think in
really
New
far.
Hampshire they're starting it
Really?
too.
Wow.
I believe.
They
Like,
won't
don't
induct
quote me on
you
that,
in there unless you already come in with your own
but- So if
prescription.
you are on Suboxone or whatever, they'll continue it.
Well,
Yes.
that's
Wow.
huge.
Yeah.
Because I didn't care when I went to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I believe it's a human rights issue, right? People
One time
Need
I
their medicine,
thought that
yeah.
I was like, all right, so I had never like said that I was suicidal before in jail. And so I was like, knew I was going to be heavily dope sick. So I told them that I was suicidal.
Oh, that's fun. Did they get like the chocolates too?
Yeah, I got the like the turtle blanket and
Yeah.
paper clothes and like thrown in like the teeniest, tiniest little cell with 3 other women who were dope sick and like just one big empty
And it's like glass and everyone can
and
see
I was
in.
like, what? I will never do that again.
Yeah.
I was like,
Ouch.
I'd rather be up on the unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, think about how degrading that is to somebody
Yeah.
who has a substance use disorder, right?
So
like, we
wrong.
need medical attention. This is a medical issue, right? A behavioral health issue. And what's happening to us is we're being separated from all the resources that we need, and we're isolated, alone, and with
Shamed.
very little resources,
Yeah.
right?
It
And the
was one of
stigma-
the worst experiences of my
Yeah,
life. They
sure.
fed us bologna sandwiches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was
Right.
terrible.
Sick.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a feeling I went to the same place.
I was like, I will never say that again. I did not mean it. I'm not really suicidal.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so you went to so you got 90 days in the residential treatment program that they had there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I actually was sent up here to Nashua over at the Delenas House for veterans. It's a part of Harbor Homes, as a matter of fact.
okay.
It's specific for veterans, and I was able to live there and get back on my feet, join the community once again, and start going to meetings, and wrote a whole nother 4th step, and
Good.
started a big book step study process, and I was able to really jump back into my own recovery in a really major, profound way, stronger than I ever had before. So, right, when we go through a recurrence of use, we have a newfound vision and a usefulness and a belonging to a recovery, right?
It's a spiritual experience in itself.
Yes.
To go through a relapse, you know, to be able to come out on the other side of that. First of all, to be able to even live through that, you know, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Narcan and EMTs, and you know, but then to come out on the other side of that, I can tell you that like this time around, like my recovery has a whole new meaning, and like although God willing, like I never have to pick up again, but I'm really grateful for that last time I did. I'm really grateful for that, because the woman that I am in today is a completely different woman than what I was that last time around, you know? So,
Yeah.
One of the things that really lit me back on fire was back in 2012, going back into Rockingham County Correctional Facility to talk with the STAR participants. I don't know why they call it the STAR program. When I was in there, I didn't feel like a star, okay?
Right.
But it's a 28-day program right on G Block of Rockingham County. And once I got my year of sobriety, I was then able to go back on a monthly basis and speak to the participants of that program. And I did that for almost 4 years. And it was to the day, since I had called up to LADAC and I said, listen, Greg, I have this very busy life now. I am a clinician working in the field, and I can no longer come to do this commitment at the jail, he said, okay, come back whenever you're ready. It was 2 months to that day that I had relapsed, and 2 months after I had that recurrence of use, I ended up back at that jail, right? And not in my own clothes. So, right, I had the Velcro shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so luckily I was only in protective custody. I didn't catch new charges. But that's the reality of this thing, right? I will fall back into those old behaviors like that if I don't continue to work my recovery program.
So as we're sitting here together, and I've been like looking at the two of you, and I only know the two of you for who you are today, right? But I know me and who I was back then, and it's so crazy to think that the three of us were like career criminals
On death missions.
in and out of jail. Society had written us off. People had deemed us as hopeless. We had deemed ourselves as hopeless because like when I look at the two of you, I don't see any of that. I see inspiration. I see hope. I see things in each of you that like I want to be, that like I aspire to be. And I just think that like this is like the three of us here right now is so powerful for everyone else, because like if you don't think that you can do it, or you don't think that your loved one can do it, like hello, welcome.
Right.
You know, like we were written off.
I was thinking about this yesterday. I think that I was told when I was in treatment that since I was an IV drug user, I had a 2% chance of never using drugs again. I think that's a lot of hope, right?
1 in 10. Wasn't that like the statistics? I think when I went
1 in 10, that's 10%. At least 2% is like, I don't even know. But that's pretty scary. And I don't know if that's the case, but it's definitely possible. So, it's crazy that that's being kind of like shared with people. Hey, you have a 2% chance of getting well. And I know that like with therapy and, medicated assisted treatment, the chances of staying in recovery actually increase.
I think the idea of recovery itself has shifted a lot too, right? Because like I know when I first started trying to get sober, it was like if you're not like abstinence based, like hardcore this, like you're not. And like today, to me, recovery is like whatever you want it to be. For myself, what it has to be is this kind of like rigid, strict, and that's what it has to be for me. Because if I get off that, like I you know what I mean? But I don't tell anyone else what theirs should be. You know?
Well, we're seeing this huge movement. And so Aware Recovery, where I work, we adopted that model as well, right? We're not in the business of telling you how you should be recovering, right? We develop a treatment program specifically designed to your own goals and your own aspirations. And we're not going to tell you to, because think about the type of alcoholic and drug addict that we are. If you tell me what to do, I'm going to tell you to go F yourself.
Until I've been hopelessly defeated, I was not willing to listen.
Exactly. And so that's why we're meeting people right where they are, and any whichever way you choose to start your recovery journey, we will help keep you accountable and advocate for you. And I know a lot of other programs in New Hampshire are finally starting to do the same thing, right? Yeah.
I've talked about before the SOS as an organization is huge on what we call multiple pathways. So we support you in whatever it looks like. Is your life manageable today? Like, are you happy that's recovery? And we're not going to dictate what that looks like.
What is acceptable to me or unacceptable to me is not the same for you. And like, who am I to tell you what your truth should or shouldn't be?
Sure.
You know, so I think that like the idea of recovery has come a really, really long way. And so that's why, I mean, I know we're like seeing still more overwhelming amount of deaths, but we're also on the opposite end of that. Like the recovery community is tremendous and the amount of resources are tremendous. And like, do I lose like loved ones all the time? Yeah, absolutely. But do I have this amazing network of people that just surrounds me and showers me in love, and I get to do the same from them? Yeah, like more than I ever imagined was possible.
Right.
The show's almost over, Sarah.
Dance party then? Do you want me to flip the table, or I mean, is that appropriate at this time?
One more minute.
Okay, one more. Okay. Ooh, what are we talking about? I know that just I mean, a couple years ago, you and I would be having conversations about like, oh, MAT, it's like ruining the state and it's ruining and
If
like
you watch
how are people...
my first shows, that was my out, and I truly
Sure.
believed that.
I mean,
I truly
like
believed it
having a
too.
conversation with you about a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, and I was the same way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of what we knew and what we
With
were.
I
what
was gonna
little
say-
knowledge we had.
Exactly,
Yeah.
until you actually see someone who like is like doing things
that it works
and,
for. Yeah.
and that it works for them and that they're happy or like
Mhm.
whatever, or even if someone has a reoccurrence, just because like there are people that have abstinence-based recovery that have reoccurrences. It's not about the shame and the judgment and the stigma. It's about loving and supporting people.
Well,
That's
and
what this
the
is
amount
about.
of people that it keeps alive, you know, like
Mhm.
the amount of people we've lost, I would rather
Mhm.
have them in my life today alive
Mhm.
on Suboxone or methadone.
Sure.
And hopefully they could find sustained recovery, or that would be sustained recovery for them,
Mhm.
but they can't find any recovery at all if they're not here.
Yeah.
So.
I love your necklace. I've got the same. Check it out. Whoop,
Oh,
whoop.
nice. So we're in the club.
Yeah, we're in the club.
Someone said to me,
So
"Is
you're in
that
the
a Harry
cult."
Potter necklace?"
Okay.
I'm like, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I guess it's one off from Harry Potter. The Harry Potter necklace like symbol has like
Huh.
Well, it's
the wand on it.
it
or
is an
something.
ancient symbol
I don't
anyways that symbolizes change. So
Triangle. Yeah.
so for anyone watching
Mm-hmm.
that feels that they can't get this, or they feel hopeless, or they're unsure of themselves, what do you have to say to them?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot there. I only have 1 minute to be able
You got
to
a minute and
tell
40
them.
seconds actually.
I would say the biggest thing that helped me, because once again, I can only talk about the things that helped me, is to not give up hope and to surround myself with loved ones, and hopefully the stigma out there changes against this, and we're not looked at as punitive or bad people trying to be good, right? Keep in mind that we are just sick people trying to get well. And when we can continue to share that with friends and family, keep spreading that, right? That keeps the hope alive for us and opens up a lot of opportunities. So
I love that.
That's my whole 2 cents.
We're not bad people trying to get good. We're sick people trying to get well. I'm gonna steal that from you.
Please, I
Going in
stole
the
it from
vault.
somebody else, so that's not a Snook original or anything. You kidding me?
All right, well, it's been fun. What's your phone number again for people?
603-498-1225.
Could you repeat that slightly slower?
Wait on to me slow down. I don't know. 603-498-1225. And you can call me on that anytime.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It was a good show. Thank you for being here, Jesse.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for coming on.
You're incredible.
She is incredible.
Yeah.
She really is incredible. For everyone watching at home, thank you for spending your time with us. Please reach out to Snook with any questions. You need to get a hold of Jesse. Go down to SOS Recovery. If you haven't done so already, please follow us on Facebook. I am a heroin addict. Go ahead and give it a little like. Thank you.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.